Hi, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of One Question. And at least starting out, I'm going to really try to keep it to one question this time. And I would like to introduce you to my very good friend, Linda Apple. And we're going to be talking about her book tonight, Bow Wow, Winston's Words of Wisdom. And Linda, you'll have to forgive me, but I didn't really realize until I started reading the book that Bow Wow is an acronym.
Yeah.
I just thought it was Winston introducing his book as Bow Wow. But well, tell me what the acronym is, because
it's Book of Winston's Words of Wisdom.
Yeah, but Winston's Words of Wisdom.
Book of Words.
Book
of Take a drink
book
of wine, Jane.
Of Winston's Words of Wisdom. I've got my wine and Linda has her bourbon. So cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, so it's an acronym. I was thinking, wait, it starts with Winston, but it's Book of Winston's Words of Wisdom. So
yeah, I got an idea while I was driving. I thought that was pretty clever.
Yeah, it's very cute. I really like it.
Winston thought that was really clever.
Yes, exactly. Well, we're going to be talking about Winston, and I have to apologize to everybody because I thought I've met Winston. I'm fortunate to have met him already. But I was hoping that our audience could meet him tonight too. But we'll just have to schedule a separate show for Winston himself because I understand he's got a website.
He does.
What is his website? Pardon me?
It's winstonswisdom.com.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to go and visit that. But I should have introduced Linda first of all, so let me introduce her to you now. Linda Apple is the author of 7 books, both fiction and nonfiction. Her nonfiction stories have appeared in 16 of the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. I think the last I knew it was 14. So it's grown. She is an inspirational and motivational speaker and friend, I might add. And now, to her surprise, she's a children's author. And that's another one of the things we're going to be talking about tonight. So the first thing I'd like to do is I'm going to ask the one question, and Linda is going to give her answer, and it's completely off the cuff. So, Linda. So, Linda, my one question for you is, with all of the pets that you've had in your life, I know you've had dogs and you've had lots of cats. I would like to know what was so special about Winston that you decided to write this book series about him. What was it about Winston that spoke to you to write this book?
Well, it was funny because we were camping and he was a puppy. And the first thing I noticed about him is when he saw his first turtle. And the way he reacted and responded with this turtle, I thought that was really funny. So when I got back home, I came up with the idea of Winston's World reporting moving rocks. And everybody loved it. And I kept, every week, Winston had a new report about something, and everything was something that I'd seen him do. And you know, as a writer, your mind goes way out there. So I was making up all these stories and putting them on Facebook. And after a while, people started writing to Winston. And so I started answering as Winston, and it just caught fire. Mm-hmm. And people were saying, write a book, write a book. And I'm thinking, how do you write a book and market it to adults? I know LOL Cats did that, but I just didn't know how I would do it. And Jan, as you know, I don't write anything without a purpose behind it. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, well, I'll write to children because I have 13 grandchildren and I listen to their little problems, and some of them are not little at all, and some of their friends' problems. And I thought, people will listen to a dog. Kids will listen to a dog more than they would listen to an adult.
That's true.
And especially if it's funny, and they could identify, like the moving rock story was teaching the kids, things aren't always as they appear, and don't feel bad about it if you think one thing and you're wrong. Right. And so after I thought about that, and then my son said, if you would have questions for discussion, that would even be better, because he was in school getting his teaching degree. Mm-hmm. So I pitched the idea to a publisher, Agma, and they loved it and ran with it, and it's catching fire, and I'm so excited. It's really not as much that Winston was different from all my others, but it was just that moment of him snipping that turtle. As crazy as that sounds.
So that was the first story?
That's the first story. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just love that. And you guys, Lynn and I talked about this a little bit, and I'm looking at this dot in the middle of my screen to make it look like I'm looking at Linda, but it just does not feel right not looking at you while you're talking. So I'm just going to go ahead and look at you. Yeah, because
cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, so that's my one question, but of course that always leads into other topics. But was it difficult for you? Because that's one thing I love about the book, is that you tell a little story, and then you kind of give prompts for, I mean, you call it a kid's book, but to me it's just as much for adults. It makes adults think too. And that's one thing that I love about it. But you've got in each section, you've got Winston's words of wisdom, where you kind of summarize the story. And then you have Winston wonders.
That's what he learned from it.
Right.
That's what he learned, the lesson he learned. And the neat thing about that is, when you talk like that, you're not talking down to the children, and it's the dog talking to
right.
them. And so I think it makes a safe place for them. And then when Winston wonders, the discussion questions, I had one grandmother write me and say, I have learned things about my grandchildren I never knew. Isn't that great? Yeah. And really promoting conversation, and school counselors are starting to get it, and it's just amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Linda, your voice has gotten soft again. Can you either talk louder or move closer? Yeah, I think so. You were while you were explaining the answer to the one question, I could hear you pretty well, but for some reason you've gotten soft again. But anyway, after the little Winston's words of wisdom, she has Winston wonders, and that's where you kind of prompt the reader to think about things. This one is, do you have a friend that looks or acts differently from you? And I think it's just a really good way for the reader, whether it's a child or an adult, to think about the meaning of that story and how it applies to their life. So I think that was great. So good job answering the one question.
Yes, we did it.
Pardon me?
We did it.
Yay! Okay, the next thing I'd like to do is have you read an excerpt.
Okay, that'd be good. Can you see this?
Okay, yes. Linda's going to read us an excerpt about her book, and she's going to give us a little bit of background on it.
Okay, this is the first story. Oh, there you go. See that turtle? Isn't he the cutest thing?
He is cute. The illustrations, I love the illustrations too.
Oh yeah, it's by a great guy, Dylan Hale. Oops, can you see him? There he is.
There he is. Yeah.
He did a great job.
He really captured the personality of Winston.
Well, yeah, because he spent a lot of time with Winston and got his personality down. And
yeah, that's great.
Have a great relationship. But anyway, my first thing I wrote was about moving rocks, and so I'm going to read that to you. He's out on a nice fall day, and he's playing with Soren, and he sees what he thinks is a rock, and it moves, and then he's top dog in charge, TDIC of Apple Security, And so he feels like he has to investigate this rock.
Okay.
Okay. So he's just seen the rock. I blinked, not believing my eyes, but there it was, walking. Peoples, this called for a closer look. I followed the rock as close as I dared, and then, when I got near enough to give it a good snipping, its legs disappeared. Gone! Just like that. Poof! The thing just laid there looking like any other rock. But I wasn't fooled. My security instincts took over. As TDIC, it was my job to check this thing out. I had to be sly in order to keep from frightening Soren, so I snuck up beside it to get a good look. First, I made the visual examination. The rock had what looked like circles down its middle with squares on either side of the circles. The rock was brown, but the circles and squares were yellow. A shiver tingled down my spine. Could this rock actually be an alien? Something from another planet? Were those symbols a secret message? Were we being invaded? A growl almost escaped my throat, but I swallowed it down. No need to worry my buddy Soren yet. Second, I conducted a full-nose modus operandi, meaning I gave that rock a good sniffing. It had a musty, damp smell, like pond water. Reminded me a little of a snake. Snake! Yikes! Have you ever seen a squatty-legged Scottish terrier jump 5 feet in the air? Well, you didn't, and I'm not admitting to anything. Finally, I took the wait-and-see approach. I stepped back, not because it smelled like a snake or anything. No, not at all. And then, while watching it, something even stranger happened. The rock's bottom half parted open from the top half, and 2 beady orange eyes stared at me. Yes, the rock had eyes. Well, that was enough for me. I gave a full-on barking, and I ran to Soren and howled, "Aliens, danger, let's get out of here. We got to go tell the folks." But then, so his little words of wisdom was, sometimes things look one way, but really something else. For instance, some little dogs seem unfriendly to me because they yap and snap, but I think it's because they're afraid of larger dogs and want to appear brave. Maybe your human seems angry with you, but on the other paw, maybe your human's just tired. I once heard Soren say that he thought a kid at school didn't like him, only to find out that the kid was just really shy. There are always 2 sides to a situation. So take the wait and see approach. Who knows? With time, you might realize the moving rock you see is really a turtle. And then he asked the questions, have you ever been fooled by something that wasn't what it seemed? And there's several questions, and then they can discuss that and maybe just feel a little better about themselves.
Yeah. So you said that you've been in touch with a school about using this in a program that they have?
I just found out that there's a school that's using this as part of their curriculum. Isn't that great?
That's great. And for what age?
I think it's elementary school.
Oh, okay.
But it's also really, really popular in middle school too.
Yeah, I bet.
And then I am having parents say, that these conversations that are coming up, the kids are really opening up. The funny thing is that one teacher told me that when she was reading it to her class and she was reading that story, little kids were going, "Sounds like a turtle." And then one little kid leaned over and said, "I bet it's a turtle."
Oh,
but they're really cute. They're really, involved in the story.
Yeah, and they're imagining it as it's being read to them. That's great. Yeah. Have you gotten to read to any classes yet?
Pardon?
Have you gotten to read to any classes yet?
No.
Because I think that would be fun too.
I am having a virtual reading for a library pretty soon.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
So we'll be doing that.
Yeah. You know what else I thought of as you were talking about schools using it is, you remember when you've had those little notebooks that you had made up for people to take notes in class, and It would be neat to have a little diary with those prompts in it, because I think that's an, pardon me?
That's a great idea.
Yeah, well, because like you said, a lot of times if kids can't express it themselves, they might be able to express it to Winston.
Oh, I love that. You know, and it's Winston's, one thing he says, and I didn't read that, but he talks about P-mail, P-E-E mail.
Yes.
That's what dogs do. You know, that's how they communicate, you know, leave their P-mail.
Right.
And so on his website, he says, you can't leave me P-mail here, but you can.
I saw that. Yeah.
The email. And so
I thought that was really cute.
He will.
In fact, we took Obi for a walk this morning, and you know he loves to stop and smell. And I told Steve,
he's reading
female.
Yeah. But
we don't get so frustrated now because we understand he's reading P-mail.
You're pulling him away at the best part, you know.
Yeah, I know. But that reminds me, I loved some of your dog expressions. Your full nose modus operandi. Your I'm not pulling your tail. Let's see.
Having a whooping good time.
Yeah, and having a yap about it. I thought that was really cute too. Did those just come to you, or did you have to think about them?
They just happen.
Yeah,
that's so funny. But we're calling them Winston-isms. So I'm gonna make a game for the website where, you know, find the word and you'd be finding the Winston-isms. That's what I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
Also, he's got a Christmas book coming out next year, an illustrated Christmas book, and BOWWOW 2 will be coming out.
Will it be the same kind of format with kind of a lesson, or is it just a story?
No, it'll be the same thing. In fact, I'm collecting, and I would really appreciate people sending me things that they think that some struggles that children have that need to be addressed. Mm-hmm. And all the stories in BOWWOW are things that actually happened. And
yeah, I figured they were. Yeah.
I don't know that will be the case with BOWWOW 2. So, but I would like to start addressing things that children struggle with, and they need a safe place to have Winston talk to them about it.
That's a good idea, and I will post a link to your website, but if you want to let everybody know now what your website and how the best way, if they had some ideas to send to you, what's the best way to get them to you?
Yeah, I'm Linda at lindaapple.com.
Okay.
Linda at lindaapple.com.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're going to have a little bit of an after show now for anyone who would like to stay and just kind of listen to Linda and I chat for just a little bit, because we haven't gotten to see each other since, gosh, even before this pandemic started.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. When was the last time? Well, anyway, we'll talk about that after. Okay, well, I'm going to end this segment, and we'd love for any of you to stay and be a fly on the wall while Linda and I talk. But Linda, thank you so much for sharing your excerpt with us and filling us in on your book. And I can't wait to see where this goes. I can't wait to hear what the classes think about it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Okay, well, stay tuned for the after show.
Okay.
Welcome to the after show. So Linda, we were talking about when we last saw each other, and I haven't even seen your new house yet. I've only seen pictures. The last time I was in Fayetteville, you took us up there, and I believe they just had the frame sketched out.
Yeah, and I think it'll be 2 years in March that we hadn't seen each other.
Wow. Yeah, that's when you guys came down to Dallas, right? That's been 2 years?
It'll be 2 years in March.
That's terrible.
It is awful.
Yes.
Or sisterhood of the traveling pen. We haven't traveled very much.
No, we haven't, especially this year. You know, when Steve and I talk about what all we did last year, think about this year, it's just depressing.
Oh, or watch movies where everybody just kind of gets in each other's face and going to,
I
how many
know.
times have you turned around from the door of the store thinking, ah, mask?
Oh, I know. I know. But you know what's kind of weird and scary though is when I watch TV shows now and someone goes to hug somebody, I actually think, "Where's your mask?" And that's really kind of sad because I don't want to keep thinking that way after this is all over with.
We won't. We won't. It'll all, just as we've fallen into this, life will get back to a new normal. It'll never be what we knew, but
Yeah.
it'll be, we'll be good. It'll all be
Yeah.
good.
Well, I hope so. Well, I wanted to ask you, now that you are a children's author, what's going to happen with your Women of Washington Avenue?
Lexi is not happy with me.
I bet not.
I'm 2/3 through, and so I will. I've got people saying, "Where is it?" And so you get this little pressure there. So I'm pretty much, she'll be out next year sometime.
Yeah. Well, we were talking earlier a little bit about how, to me, your Women of Washington Avenue series is kind of geared toward women our age, and it's another inspirational set of stories that encourage women that life doesn't end at 40 or 50 or 60 or 70. Yeah, I mean, it goes on, and there are things to look forward to, and relationships and friendships. And so that to me was something that was beneficial and enjoyable for women our age to read, and I'm sure women younger too. But now you've moved on to helping children. And I just,
I'm kind of juggling both, because
yeah,
we are, at our age, women at our age, we are too old to be young, but we're too young to be old.
yeah,
I just accept that.
right.
And
No, I love that saying, and that kind of does summarize all of the books.
uh-huh.
Yeah,
And plus, in the first book, I address body shaming. We shame ourselves because of what size we are. And then Molly Kate, she just said, I'm beautiful, no matter, even though I am the size I am. And the whole time I'm writing her, I'm thinking, gosh, I wish I was more like her. So,
well, that's how our writing helps us too, though.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
And I've had a lot of people say that was set them free. Didn't set me free like it should have, but it did. It helped other people. That's fine with me.
you are beautiful. We're all too hard on ourselves.
We really are. How many times have you taken a picture and think, "Oh, I hate that picture," and then 10 years later you think, "I'd give anything to look like that again."
Oh, I know. I know. Yeah, I know. There's so many selfies I've taken of me with my grandkids that when I first looked at it, I thought, oh my gosh, this is going in the trash can. But you go back and look at it now and it's like, that really wasn't so bad.
The thing about you, Jan, is you look exactly like you did in high school. When I see your high school pictures, I'm thinking, God has favorites.
No, I've
Yeah.
got this too and this. See, this really is the after show, you guys.
Oh, so anyway, I've had fun. I wasn't expecting to be a children's author, but I am really loving it, and I just love writing.
Well, I mean, talking about our age, what a wonderful thing to have discovered something that was completely unexpected that you find joy in and will help others. I mean, you couldn't ask for any more than that.
And when you finish your Wabi Sabi book,
You
that's going to
know,
help a lot of people too, Jan.
yeah, I know. It's just so hard for me to write right now. I don't know why. I mean, I write little things, but it's just, I think it's passive aggression for whatever reason. I feel like I should be writing, so
Uh-huh.
I don't write.
No, you've got too much going on in your life, and that's why I haven't done a lot of writing either. Losing both parents within 6 months of each other,
Yeah,
and then you've got your dad and your kids have moved. I mean, sometimes we just have to write around those things.
Yeah.
And give yourself permission to not write.
Give yourself permission to not write, and sometimes just sit down to write a paragraph.
Yeah.
I mean, I have found the other thing that I've noticed, and it's the big difference between Steve's and my writing, is Steve writes strictly for the joy of writing. He doesn't care who sees it. He doesn't care what anybody thinks about it. He just loves to write. And he will write 10,000 words on one thing that happened in our lives. And it's beautiful. I mean, I think it's publishable, but he feels no pressure. He only writes because he wants to write. Whereas I feel like I do my best writing if I'm taking it to a critique group or if I'm going to have it published. But the problem with doing that is perfectionism. You worry about how it's going to sound to somebody, and so it freezes you up. It stops you from writing. And I just wish I could get to where Steve is, where he writes for the joy of writing. And I'm serious. I don't think I'm just prejudiced because he's my husband. He is a beautiful, beautiful writer.
He is. He's a beautiful person, and his water runs deep. And
Yes.
yeah, so he's a very reflective person. But at the same time, that's the way BOWWOW happened. I was just having fun writing it.
Right.
These are so easy to me. And so that's why, Steve, somebody may say, hey, we want your story, but, I wonder if he published it, it would no longer be a joy for him to write.
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I've published a few of his things on my blog, but he just has no interest in publishing it. Pardon me?
Stephen King's wife, he threw Carrie in the trash. She's the one that took it out.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
He owes her a lot.
Yeah. Well, one thing I've thought about doing is, he's written so many beautiful poems, and and I've told him this, and he'd be okay with it. I just need to do it. I thought about writing or putting together some of his poems and titling the book "Why I Love Him," just because he writes such beautiful poetry.
He does, and you've got the ability to do that.
Right.
I think you should.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that would inspire me to start writing myself.
Another thing too is he makes those beautiful cards. Wouldn't it be lovely to have some of excerpts of that inside those cards?
Yeah. Yeah, we've thought about that too. Just and I've thought about putting haiku on those cards too. But yeah, there's so many things we could do if I just would sit down and start doing it. But like you said, there's been a lot going on.
Okay, well, I'm just going to put my plug in, folks. You need to write Jan and say, I want the Wabi Sabi book, because I've read some of it, and I was a better person for having read everything.
Oh, thank you.
You need to get that book done. You really do. With his drawings, with your drawings, with your photographs. Please get that book done.
See, you guys, she's an inspiration, not just as an author, but as a friend. That's what I miss about you.
I miss you so bad.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm going to try to come in November sometime.
Okay, I'm keeping the whole month open for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thanks for talking to us, Linda. I miss you. Everybody, this is Linda's book. It's available on Amazon. Can you see without the glow? And I highly recommend it. Linda, I'll be doing a review here pretty soon.
Good. When you look it up on Amazon, you have to do BOWWOW !
Okay.
That's how, for some reason, if you just do BOWWOW Book of Winston's Words of Wisdom, it doesn't show up.
You know what? I found that. I actually had to search by your name.
Yeah, so. That or BOWWOW !
Okay.
I think the owner's trying to get get that fixed. But
Okay,
right now,
that's good to know.
yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Linda.
Thank you. I love
Mwah.
you.
Miss you, love you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, show everybody your glass.
And I made one for Jan too. That was her Christmas present. She was supposed to come up. So, you know what?
What?
Okay, no, that's right. That's right. It's been a year. It'll be a year in March. Okay, yeah. Because you were going to come up at Christmas, and something happened that you couldn't last year. So, okay, never mind.
Well, I'll come in November.
Okay.
Okay, bye. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye. Thanks.